Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing a very exciting video. It's my first impressions, first thoughts, my review on the Colourpop No Filter Foundation, No Filter Setting Powder, the Sheer Pressed Powder, and their Fortune eyeshadow palette, or Fortune eyeshadow palette. I'm wearing all the new items that Colourpop has launched on my face today. If you want to learn how to get this look and my thoughts and impressions on the Colourpop No Filter complexion line, then please keep on watching. So first, going to start off by priming our eyelids using my MAC Prep and Prime 24-Hour Extend Eye Base. And then after eye primer, always apply foundation. So today I am extremely excited. I got the Colourpop No Filter Foundation. I actually got a couple shades, but this is the one that they compared it to the Maybelline Matte and Poreless 128 Warm Nudes. That's why I got it. I did get 25, 50, and 60. So fair 25, light 50, and light 60. Although I just wanted to get them just in case, but light 50 does match me. I feel like light 50 matches me, but I feel like if they have another shade, it could match me better. So this is the 128 from Maybelline, and this is Colourpop's light 50, I believe. Yes. So these are the two shades together, and this shade is the most comparable to this shade, and this is my shade that I find that matches me like very close to my skin tone. So these two right here. I just brought it up to give you a comparison because I know a lot of people do love the Maybelline Matte and Poreless line. So this is the foundation that I'll be using today. I'm just going to take a little bit. It is very liquidy, so you have to be careful. And it doesn't have a cap, but it has like a twist, which locks it and unlocks it. And I'm just taking, oh, it's locked. I'm taking the tiniest bit because a little bit goes a long way with this foundation. My Luxie 209 large shader brush to apply the foundation to my eyes. This foundation is extremely easy to blend. And the next exciting thing I'm using is the Colourpop No Filter Setting Powder. I got it in the shade Translucent. And it's very tiny, but it's like $6, I believe it was. I'm going to set my eyelids using the translucent powder with my Luxie 233 brush. And so far so good. I am liking the translucent powder. It is really nice and it's very lightweight. So for my eyes today, I am going to be using the Colourpop Fortune palette. This is their newest eyeshadow palette that they launched during their birthday, and I love this palette. You guys know I love my pinky, purpley shades, and this is such a pretty palette. I didn't get the Fame just because I don't wear cool tones a lot. I'm more of a warmer spectrum type of girl when I wear eyeshadow. I don't think I've ever done any cool tone eye looks on my channel, if I'm correct, but so I didn't think I'd get a lot of use out of it, so I didn't get that one, but I definitely had to get my hands on the Fortune palette. It's so cute, so pretty, and this is how it looks like. I've used it about 3 to 4 times already. This has so pigmented, so beautiful, and I just love the looks I've created with this palette. So we shall get started. I'm going to be taking my Morphe M504, and I'm going to be taking the color Ben and Wiser right here. I'm going to mix those two together as a transition shade. More of Wiser than Ben, just because I want that pink tone. Then the next brush I'll be taking is my Morphe R37. I'm going to be taking, sorry, I can't read upside down clearly. I'm going to be taking 500 and Riche, I believe they call it. The E is like, it's the accent. I'm going to mix those together. I'm going to grab more of the 500 shade, which is like the very purpley one, or like the more purpley one, because I just want it to be more purpley. And I'm going to aim this in the outer corners. You want to take the brush and go back and forth. I'm going to go back with my Morphe M504 and just blend this out. I'm going to use my same Morphe R37 and just dip back into 500. Gonna go in with my Morphe R39, and I'm gonna be taking the color Fortune right here, which is like a deep purpley with a little bit of brown in it. I'm gonna focus this in the outer corner and just deepen the shade up. Deepen the outer corners up, I mean. What I'm gonna do next is move on to my lid shade. I'm gonna be using my NYX Glitter Primer, and I'm just gonna take a little bit on my ring finger. Just like the tiniest bit, a little dollop right here. And I'm gonna apply it in the inner corner where I'm gonna apply my shimmer shade, just blend it. And now I'm gonna be taking this really pretty shimmery shade right here. It's like a deep purple shimmery shade with a little bit of silver bluish kind of reflex, and it is called Jackpot. I'm going to use my finger to apply this. It's literally so pretty and so pigmented, like amazing. I'm going to take my Colourpop shader brush, and I'm just going to blend out any harsh lines for Jackpot. Fortune again. I'm going to apply it back into the outer corners to further blend out Fortune from the outer corners so it's like gradient. Also bringing whatever I have left into the outer corners to further blend it and also kind of bring depth, if that makes sense. I'm going to take my Morphe M504. Alright, we're going to move away from the eyes for just a little bit. This is really pretty and I really like it. I think if you guys are a fan of the Colourpop shadows and you want something that is kind of like neutral meets purpley toned, this is definitely the palette because it does have a good range of like neutral tones. There's an orange color in here which I love, which is called Riche. Love it. And I haven't used any of like the bronzier shades just yet because I've been obsessing over like the deeper purpley shades that shimmer shades that this palette has. So I definitely will be doing another look with this palette using the bronzier shades in this palette because you can definitely create like a lot of different looks. Something very easy and very simple to something very dramatic with this palette. It's just so beautiful. So let's move on to the face because I'm excited to show you guys how the foundation looks on video and on camera. I've used it a couple other times. Today I'm wearing the YSL Touche Clat like blurring foundation primer and as well as the Becca Ever Matte primer to just make my face matte, and that is it as of right now. And then we're going to apply the foundation. So I promise I'm not naked. I just am wearing a tube top that obviously you can't see the straps to because there's no straps. So we're going to move on to the face. Like I said, I'm going to be using the Colourpop No Filter Foundation today, and this is in the shade Light 50. And this is very comparable to my Maybelline Matte and Poreless 128. I'm going to shake it up once more. Usually take about 3 pumps. As you can see, it is a very like liquidy foundation, as you can clearly see. I'm going to apply this with my fingers, focusing on the nose first. I would say this foundation is medium, and it can be buildable to full coverage. Like I said, I usually like to apply one layer of my foundation and then use the rest, or when I need a little bit more coverage, I will take the foundation and kind of like spot conceal with it and just apply it in areas where I want more coverage. I'm going to take my Beauty Blender, I'm going to spritz it a little bit with my Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray. I'm going to start pouncing this foundation on. At first, even though this foundation is very like close to my skin tone, it does look a little bit lighter sometimes. And I don't know why, because my Maybelline foundation obviously does not do that, but I feel like this foundation it does. But I don't want to say that it is like full coverage in just one layer, because I do feel like there is other imperfections that I would like to cover a little bit more after the foundation is blended out. This is going to be one layer of the foundation. It kind of looks weird. Like I said, I mentioned that it kind of looks lighter for some reason, even though it matches my skin color pretty good. But this is the first layer of the foundation. As you can see, let me zoom in a little bit. This is how the foundation looks on my face right now. I like this foundation, but it definitely isn't like one of my favorites. I just don't know, something about like blending it out, even though it's easy, it doesn't look flawless, you know. I don't know if it's just me. I haven't like seen other reviews within this foundation, but you know I love Colourpop, so I had to get this foundation. I'm gonna get one more pump. I'm gonna apply it on my cheeks, nose, and forehead. I don't know. This foundation is definitely good, but I wouldn't say it's like off the bat one of my favorites. Although it does set on my skin really well. It's not setting into any dry areas. And you all know that the sides of my nose are extremely dry, so if this does set in dry areas, I will quickly know. And this is one layer, but with areas where I covered the foundation, where I use the foundation a little bit more. Getting cakey, which is nice. But I definitely don't know how I exactly feel for the foundation. But I don't hate it though. That's the thing. I don't want you guys to think I hate the foundation. I'm just kind of indifferent about it. Like, it's good, but it's definitely not like one of my favorites at the moment. Now I'm going to go ahead and conceal. I'm going to be using my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in Ginger and further cover my chin. I'm going to go ahead and blend. Concealer is laying really nice on top of this foundation, which is good because this is like my holy grail concealer that I have to use before I put on like a highlighting concealer. This is the foundation with my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer on. So far, so good. I actually like it a lot better with my concealer over top the foundation. I'm going to highlight. I'm going to be using my Sephora Make No Mistake High Coverage Concealer, and this is in the color Custard, I believe. Oh, Ginger too. Number 04 Ginger. And this is like a thicker concealer. So I'm going to go ahead and use this BH Cosmetics Flat Shader Brush. It looks good so far. And with the concealer blended out, I'm now going to go ahead and use some translucent powder. So this is how the translucent powder looks like. It's very finely milled and it does go on very nicely. Like, I have a little bit on my hand and it just feels like you can keep rubbing your hands together forever and ever and ever and ever. Like, it will never stop because it's so finely milled and it's so soft. You feel like you have stuff under you don't want to feel like you have a lot of makeup under, you know, even if you are wearing a lot of makeup. So I'm just going to use my Purple Beauty Blender to further blend out any creases before I go ahead and bake. Oh, let me show you. This is my face before I go ahead and set it and start baking with my translucent powder. So far, so good. It actually looks a lot better right today because I've used it. Like I said, I've tried the foundation a couple other times and I didn't really like it, but I did switch up my primer today. Like my, I usually use my Touche, the one that they have, I forget what it's called. The little circular one. That I really like that primer, but today I decided to use the YSL Touche Blur one, which I got its 100-point perk at Sephora, and it actually looks really good. So really, I'm still like seeing how I like this foundation. You know, at first that you saw me that I was kind of skeptical. Like, I liked it, but it wasn't my favorite. But I do like it a lot more today. I feel like it just like looks a lot better. My Touche primer that I used. So I'm gonna go ahead and bake under my eyes per usual. You all know I go so crazy over my loose translucent powders, so. I'm back, and for the Colourpop rest of their No Filter collection, I did get the Colourpop No Filter Sheer Pressed Powder in Light, but unfortunately I don't feel like I like this powder. As you guys know, I like to use my powder to dust off my bake, but I feel like this powder, I know it says sheer, but I didn't realize that it was, like, it just, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I saw some people using this as like a setting powder, but then I also heard that it was like, you know, a touch-up powder. I don't really touch up, so I thought I'd get this anyways to see how I'd like it compared to my other powder foundations I use to dust off my face and set my face. I don't like it just because this is too sheer for me, and I know it says sheer, so I was already prepared for that. So if you do like a sheer coverage, or you don't wear you don't like a lot of full coverage makeup, you like something more sheer, more minimal, this would be a perfect powder for you. Just this is not my cup of tea, and that is totally fine because not everything is going to be my favorite, you know? But it is good for those who have already perfect skin. They don't wear a lot of makeup day-to-day basis. They just, some people just like to wear powder foundation, and I feel like this is something that you would like, or especially if you don't get as oily as I do, this would be a really nice powder to just like powder down areas that you do get a little bit oily from, but I get oily all over, so this just wasn't something that would work out for me. But like I said, nonetheless, this is a very good powder. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to dust off my translucent powder using the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless in the color 220. I'm going to be using my Morphe E48. I'm going to go ahead and use my Morphe E3 to set my face as well. And this foundation is very lightweight. I don't feel like I have anything on. Like, it's very lightweight. I don't feel it. It's very weightless. I just want to do a close-up. This is my face after being powdered down and using the translucent powder. It does blend in really nice. Like I said, the translucent powder is very light and it blends out extremely easily. And it just feels like really nice. I'm going to go ahead and warm up my face using my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer. Using my Equal Tools, I believe they call this the powder brush, but I like using it for bronzer as of recently. Just to give my face some definition. Not anything or not blending out, it just looks very nice. And now I'm going to go ahead and contour my face using the Balm Cosmetics Highlighting Contour Palette. Using the two contour shades. I'm using the MAC 109. Now I'm going to go ahead and carve out my contour using the same Colourpop translucent powder. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and use my Sephora Collection Crayon Contour, the 12-hour one in Cocoa, and I'm going to go ahead and tightline my eyes. I went ahead and smudged the eyeliner on my lower lash line, and then as well as I tightlined. I already applied mascara. This is my Lancome Monsieur Big Waterproof. I've heard so many good like reviews on this and like people raving about the original like formulation, but I didn't try it because I was like, okay, well, I usually wear eyelashes anyway, so there's like no point, like drugstore mascara is fine, whatever. And then they came out with a waterproof version, which made me want to try it. I saw this on Sephora and it was redeemable for their points for 100 point perk online, so I got it and I'm wearing it right now. I do like it. I feel like it makes my lashes look more fuller. And it doesn't make them like more curled. I feel like the Roller Lash from Benefit does that by itself. I love that mascara, but this one definitely makes my eyelashes look fuller and like more fluffy. Like I have a lot more eyelashes, but I'm going to keep using it. I'm going to see how I like it, but so far so good. So I am going to go ahead and take my flat shader brush from Morphe. This is the M432. Going back with my Fortune palette, I'm going to take 500, the color, and mix a little bit of Fortune. I'm going to go ahead and smudge this on my lower lash lines. I'm going to go ahead and take my Dose of Colors shader brush. I'm going to go ahead and blend this out. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go apply some eyelashes. I'm going to apply my House of Lashes Iconics. I've been loving these clearly. I wear them in every video. So I can't apply my lashes on camera because I just like have to be like this close to my mirror. So I'm going to apply them and I'll be right back and we can dust this off. I got ahead and applied the lashes, and I'm going to blend out the translucent powder. Now I'm going to apply some blush. I'm going to be using my Colourpop blush palette. Whoa. I'm going to be using Tulip to Quit right here. And to apply it, it's going to be my Morphe M556. Going to go ahead and set my brows. This is the Benefit Gimme Brow in number 3. I'm going to apply some highlighter before I set my face. I'm going to be using my Dior Dior Nude Air Luminizer in number 001. I just like this because it kind of has like golden but a little bit of a pink shift to it, so I kind of feel like it matches my eyes. Go ahead and apply my highlighter with the Morphe E49. It's like not a flat shader brush, it's a flat brush that I also have used this type of brush before to dust off my translucent powder, but I'm going to use it to highlight. So now I'm going to go ahead and set my face using my Urban Decay All Nighter Makeup Setting Spray. Mascara to my lower lashes. This is the IT Cosmetics Waterproof Tight Line. I'm going to go ahead and apply some lip liner. This is my NYX lip liner in the color Natural. I'm actually going to take another lip liner. So I'm going to take my Colourpop lip liner in Lumiere. I used to like wear this all the time. This is a lot more pink though. But the Colourpop lip liners are a lot more creamier than the NYX ones, because those are like the wooden ones are a little bit harder, I feel like. I also got this new lipstick that I'm going to use. I got the Bite Amuse Bouche lipstick, and this is their it's the Astrology line that they launched. It's Astrology by Bite, and this is the Cancer one. I'm not a Cancer, I'm a Scorpio, but I just thought this color was so pretty. It's like a really pretty mauve color. How pretty this is, so I thought I'd get it because the color is nice, and my boyfriend is like a Cancer. So. I love the Colourpop Amuse Bouche lipsticks. This color might be a little bit too dark for what I was going for, but it's so pretty. Love the smell of them too. They're really creamy and I just really like them. They're like full coverage. But because this is a little bit darker than what I expected, I'm going to go ahead and apply the Dose of Colors Let's Cuddle liquid lipstick. Alright, so that is actually the end of this like tutorial, but I did want to talk about the foundation. So the Colourpop No Filter foundation, like I mentioned, I didn't really like how it looked at first when I was using my Touche primer. But today I decided to use a different primer for this video, and I'm using since I got the Touche, the Silk Canvas primer, I've been loving it to death and using it with every single of my Holy Grail foundations. But when I used the Touche Silk Canvas with my Colourpop No Filter foundation, it looked nice, but it wasn't the finish that I thought this foundation would be, like what I usually get when I'm using my other foundations, like my Matte and Poreless, my NARS Luminous All Day foundation. I feel like it just went on very nicely, very pretty, like just it went on very seamlessly. It didn't go on as seamless when I applied the Colourpop foundation on it for some reason, which is fine. Not all primers are going to work with all foundations. You will have to like test out and see which one works best. However, I got this Touche Clat Blur primer today. In the mail. I ordered from Sephora and I got the 100 Point Perk because I really wanted to try this primer, and I got it. It was so nice, maybe because it's like a lot, the Silk Canvas isn't like thick or anything, but maybe because it's a lot thinner formula, the foundation went on very nicely. Like today I was ready to tell you guys that like I like this foundation, but it's not definitely my favorite at the moment. But with the YSL Touche Clat Blur primer, I definitely like the finish a lot more. It looks a lot more blendable, seamless, like what my regular foundations would look like if I were to use my Touche Silk Canvas. And I really like it a lot. Very blendable, weightless. The foundation is very liquidy, as you saw when I was showing you. So I do like the foundation. The coverage is, I feel like, medium to full. You can definitely make this foundation a full coverage. I, however, did one full coverage and then applied like I kind of like spot concealed with the foundation, which is nice because I feel like some areas I don't need too much coverage, but other areas I do, obviously, like my dark spots, my cheeks. I feel like sometimes need a little bit of coverage, and my nose because it gets so red. It did not emphasize my dry spots that I do have around my nose areas, which is nice. And I'm not wearing my L'Oreal Pro Matte. You guys know in every single tutorial I do use my L'Oreal Pro Matte before I apply my actual foundation. So I'm going to have to update you in the comments to see how this foundation lasted throughout the day without my L'Oreal Pro Matte, because you know that is like the mattest of all mattes foundation. So, and usually I do get oily like at the end of the day, like my nose is the first thing that will get oily. So far so good. And the loose powder. So I do really like the loose powder. I believe the foundation is $12. On Colourpop's Instagram, they do list all the foundation colors that they currently have. I believe they have 41 or 42 foundation colors, and they do have comparison of each different brand, like different brands compared to the color of their selection, if that makes sense. So I definitely double checked the Colourpop Instagram page to check that and see which foundation that you're currently using that you love that is your exact color to something similar that they recommend on their line, because that's how I got this color, and it is a pretty good match if I do say so myself. It does kind of sink, once it sinks in, it definitely does look a little bit better once everything else is applied. And then the No Filter setting powder, I got it in the color Translucent. I believe is like $6, I want to say, $7. Really good. This sets really nicely. I've tried both these items like 3 or 4 times already, and the translucent powder does not crease. I've always told you guys that my under eyes crease a lot because it has a little fold there, so everything will crease. So I have to bake under my eyes to avoid the creasing, and this translucent powder really does the job for a very cheap price. However, I do use a lot, which I feel like I will go through this translucent powder a lot faster than my other ones, but you know, if you don't need as much coverage or you don't bake as much as I do, you don't like pile the translucent powder on, you'll be fine. And then the sheer pressed powder, like I mentioned, I didn't think that this worked for me because it was too sheer, because I do like to use my pressed powders to dust off my translucent powder, so I didn't find that this worked for me. But if you do have really nice skin already, you don't need a lot of coverage, you just want something to set or to blot your face if you do get a little bit oily, this will definitely be up your alley. However, like I said, I do like full coverage, and a lot of my foundations I prefer full coverage, so this isn't something that would this isn't something that's in my zone, you know, but it's still a good product nonetheless. And the last item that I have is the Colourpop Fortune palette, which I love. Like, this look, you guys know I talk about all the time. I love rosy, dusty, pinky tones. It's amazing, and I love the fact that it does have like a section where it does have neutral shadow shades too, like bronzy shades, and like I said, you can create something very light and minimal to something very dramatic and intricate. Like, I definitely will do a lot of looks with this palette because I saw it and I fell in love. Like, Colourpop has been posting so many pictures using this palette, so I definitely want to recreate them. So yeah, something like definitely more dramatic than this look probably. But I do love them, and so far so good. I did use a different primer today, like I said, my YSL Touche Clat, and I do like this foundation a lot more. I wanted to say, when I used it with my Touche Silk Canvas, I want to rate it like a 5.6, but I feel like a 7.8 for this foundation as of right now. I'm going to have to see how it looks throughout the day, and I will update you probably in the down bar below how I do like this foundation. Tell me what you guys think, and if you guys try this foundation, tell me how you like it. Let me know what you think this foundation looks on me right now, and I'm happy to talk to you guys down below like I always do. Comment down below if you're excited to try the foundation, or if you purchased it, or how you think it looks on me, and I will see you guys in my next one.